Please stand by because we will start our program in a few minutes. Again, please stand by because we will start our program in a few minutes. Thank you.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Almighty and ever-loving Father, our God of yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we praise your unending presence in the evangelizing journey of Holy Cross of Davao College. We glorify your name for bringing into reality the mission and commitment of the school, to be your voice, your hands and feet, that enrich and guide every young person entrusted to our care. We honor your name for all the wonderful things you have made for us and through us.
Thank you, loving Father, for all your guidance. Thank you for empowering us to be a part of the evangelizing mission of the Church. Thank you for blessing us with gifted administrators, dedicated faculty members, personnel, and students. Thank you for the growth of our institution, the number of our graduates who help us spread your word, in the humble contributions we all have generously offered to our community through all these years.
We ask for your mercy for the times we fell short of our mission, and the grace to rise from them and to stand again with even stronger zeal. Help us transform our failings into lessons and learnings, so that, gifted with your grace and abiding presence, we may all arise and lead our institution to greater heights in service and in giving.
Lord Jesus Christ, our Savior on the cross, who today conquered death by your resurrection, we entrust to you our loving arms, the future of HCDC. Walk with us in our doubts and fears, and enlighten us as you did to your disciples at Emmaus, so that, in all the challenges we face, we will see you walking along with us and enkindle the fire in our hearts to be ourselves the flame of hope for all we meet for years to come.
Among langit nun nga Birheng Inahan, o Santa Maria, nangamuyo kami sa imong inahanon nga paghigugma. Pinaagi sa imong panig-ignan ug pag-amuma, sa imong anak nga si Jesus kami mahigugma.
Uban kanimo kami nangamuyo sa gugma sa amahan kami mapuno. Sa ngalan ni Jesus kami nangalyuko, og sa Espiritu Santo kami nagaampo. Amen.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Success and failure are two different destinations we arrive at when playing. The excitement, the thrill, and the adrenaline rush, these are the common emotions that esports give us. Speaking of esports, what do you think when you hear the word esports? Maybe some of you would associate them to the games you play online like Dota 2, PUBG, Fortnite, and League of Legends, as these are one of the most 7 games we play according to USA Today Sports. Or is it something we see at big arenas participated by pro players like Mobile Legends Southeast Asia Cup? Yes, that is esports. But we still have a lot of things we don't know about esports, and we will find it out later on. Alexis.
I do agree with you, Brent. With the expansion of the online world, esports became very familiar to us, given the fact that most of us are staying at home. Besides, it has been decades since esports started back in 1972. Game consoles emerged that year, while it was in 1980 when the first nationwide Space Invaders competition was conducted and participated with 10,000 gamers. That's quite a lot. And it's even bigger now as esports itself is dynamic and transcending.
What else shall we learn with esport? Is it just for plain entertainment, or is it more than that? We'll get to that as we progress in this program. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Brent Panario, a second-year communications student, together with my partner,
Alexis Wagas, a second-year communication student.
and we welcome you to the Platform 2022,
Esports, blazing new trail in the campus sports.
a live forum program designed to seek different stands to analyze and answer societal issues that exist today. Hi, Alexis. You look so beautiful today.
Thank you very much, Brent. You look dashing as well.
Thank you very much. And by the way, we would like to greet our live viewers out there.
Hello, live viewers.
Hello, and especially to our Zoom participants who are there in their respective homes. Please comment down below your questions later because we will address it to our guests.
Today's topic is very much exciting and engaging. Am I right, Brent?
Yes, you're absolutely right, Alexis. Esports is gradually evolving from the emergence of the game consoles to huge tournaments today participated by millions of pro players. Today's topic, we will be talking about esports on another level.
On another lens, and why it should be integrated into academe. But before that, to engage you with today's topic, let us watch this.
In the next 2, 3, 4 hours, however long it takes, somebody will take the long walk down this stage. They will come down here with their teammates. They will take a breath, knowing that confetti is ready, knowing they're about to pick up this trophy.
Gaming has gone from arcade games to consoles to online gaming and smartphones, setting up a whole new culture to go along with each. While video games are often based in fantasy, they also reflect both history and current events.
Sa account ng suspect sa online game.
In 2017, APA concluded that violent video game exposure was linked to increased aggressive behaviors, thoughts, and emotions, as well as decreased empathy.
These issues are only made worse by the player's age. Many become drawn to serious esports competitions when they're in high school, but by their mid-20s, generally speaking, performance starts to deteriorate.
Esport athletes are actually spending their day. What are their daily routines? And what are the things that impact their ability to carry out their daily routines in a healthy manner?
Leadership, teamwork, confidence. 3 key traits that are useful in all aspects of life. Esports can improve strategic thinking, problem solving, reading comprehension, and phonics skills.
A high-paying job, from software developers to graphic designers to marketing executives to IT professionals and so on, that is hungrily seeking to hire talent right now. And at the rate the esports industry is growing, I'm telling you, this trend is only going up.
Top gaming teams can take home $15 million or more from a single tournament, transforming our industry, now called esports, into a $27 billion phenomenon almost overnight.
Wow, that's so interesting. That's actually what we are going to talk about this afternoon. Of course, with different perspective from honorable guests that would share their thoughts and opinions regarding with esports. Are you thrilled, Alexis?
Of course, Brent, I am. To aid us with a deeper understanding of esports, its importance to the academe, and the things surrounding the topic, we invited valuable guests from different branches of the esports community. For our first segment, we have invited a representative from the Youth Esports Program of Philippine Collegiate Champions League, a veteran of the esports industry. He has participated in numerous world championship tournaments here and outside the country as a host and a shoutcaster. Currently, the brand ambassador of the Philips Monitors Philippines and one of the Philippine shoutcasters of the biggest Valorant tournament in the world. Everyone, help me welcome our first guest for this afternoon, Mr. Justin Villaseran.
Hello, guys. Good afternoon
Hello,
to all of you.
good afternoon.
Hello. Hi.
Welcome to
people.
the platform 2022, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation. So, how are you today, sir?
I'm actually doing great. I mean, it's kind of hot here in Manila, but it's all good. I mean, I hope you guys are watching. We're watching it right now. I hope you guys are really great, and yeah, always keep safe.
Yes, sir. Sir, I know, sir, that people are really curious about esports. And to start our conversation, sir, this is our first question. IDTech.com has described esports as an electronic sport, a field which individuals and teams compete for top scores in a range of video games. It includes FIFA, League of Legends, Fortnite, Counter-Strike, and StarCraft. In recent years, the esports industry has become more sophisticated as a professional field and more widespread across the globe than ever before. In your own words, sir, how would you define esports?
Well, apparently, esports is actually it's like traditional sports minus the sweating part. Well, way back in the 90s, like what you've said, parang 1970 or 1980 like that, parang nagkaroon tayo ng isang malaking tournament for like space in space something like that. But yeah, esports is a thing already, pero hindi pa esports ang tawag. People have been competing sa Pac-Man, Pong, Donkey Kong, way back pa ng mga 90s, 80s, and 70s. May esports na sila dati pa. You can do it individually, pair, or as a team, or it's really up to you. It's about being competitive and being the best on that particular game that you're playing. And now the good thing is you can easily compete sa iba't ibang bansa because it's literally you can do it online. The best example for that is chess. Well, of course, chess, hindi naman dyan talaga factor na sobrang bilis ng reaction or something like that. It's all about your way of thinking. A lot of grandmasters here in the world, they're actually playing with other grandmasters as well globally. They're playing it online. And other esports organizations are getting all these grandmasters for them to participate in their own team, for them to bring their organization's name whenever na maglalaban sila. And for me, that is actually the best example of what an esports is. And syempre, esports has been growing ever since back then, and I'm really happy to be a part of its growth.
Yes, sir, no, sir. Esports talaga, sir, is nilalaro na siya before pa lang. And hindi pa lang tayo aware na esports pala siya, but nilalaro na pala natin siya before pa lang, no?
Yeah,
so, sir, what are its benefits as a sport, specifically to students, sir?
For students naman, kasi, well, yeah, back then, pumasok ako sa esports is estudyante pa lang ako. Huwag na nating sabihin kung anong year. kung kailan yon. But yeah, sports teach you mental fortitude. It teaches you stamina. It teaches you discipline. And esports is no different, lalo na pag kunyari nasa bootcamp ka. Of course, if ever you're in a closed space, like kunyari sa bootcamp, yung may mga coaches dyan, life coach, mind coach, mga analysts or anything para lang syempre maturuan yung mga players natin for them to be a better version or better person para sa kanilang mga disciplines like syempre sa mga games nila. And meron ding trainings and stuff din dun. So yeah, it's all about the mental fortitude, stamina, and syempre, yeah, being a better version of yourself.
Yes, sir. I do agree with that, sir. No, because esports, sir, is also like a normal sport or the sports that we are used to. We still
Yeah.
we practice camaraderie,
Yeah.
marami pang iba.
Kaya nga
Yeah.
lang virtually siya.
Yes, yeah, we play it
Virtually. We play
online.
virtual. But we still
Yeah.
have a lot of advantage kasi if we
Yes, we
engage
still
in
have a lot of
esports.
things to learn about esports and its benefits to the students. So how, sir, for the third question, sir, how does the youth esports program encourage the youth or the students to balance gaming in their studies?
First and foremost, YEP promotes responsible gaming. We're saying that it's good for gaming to become your career, but it should not become the only focus of your life. You need to develop everything else to become a holistic individual. It's all about setting your priorities straight and right din talaga. It's all about responsible gaming, man. I mean, priorities, ano ba yung pinakauna mong kailangan i-prioritize? Of course, if you are a student, top one, family, friend, I mean, studies, family, or kung family una, studies muna. I mean, it's really up to you. Syempre, huwag nating kalimutan dyan na yung gaming naman is talagang darating at darating din naman yun. If ever you can do both, if you are excelling in gaming, you need to excel in your schools as well. You need to excel in your academics as well, syempre, for it to become balanced.
Sir, no, tama, sir. It's just a matter of prioritizing what is the most important thing. And tama, sir, na dapat lang, sir, like, it's self-regulation kasi, sir, like, it's up to you, sir, kung ano yung unahin mo, kung academics
Yeah.
ba, or ano ba, or gaming ba.
That's true.
But kailangan talaga na unahin talaga natin ang academics before
Yeah.
this gaming.
Yeah.
So, sir, for the fourth question, do you think we need esports in the academe?
All right. Actually, yun yung isang medyo talagang question na pinag-isipan ko eh. Pero ginawa ko na lang ganito. The discipline of esports simply put its multiple disciplines in a business. We need marketing in the academe. We need finance in the academe. We need business management in the academe. All of these put together still form kung ano ang esports ngayon. So kung ano yung ginagawa natin sa kunyari, if you are HR, merong HR sa esports. Kunyari, marketing. Merong marketing sa esports. IT. Merong marketing sa esports. So, yeah, for me it's good. I mean, for me it's okay.
Since kasi lumalaki na yung esports community and nag-hire sila ng iba't ibang staff. So diyan talaga ma-exercise talaga yung kagaya ng sinabi kanina sa intro video that it exercises leadership. It also enhance your strategic skills. Kaya I do agree with you talaga, sir.
Yes, and sobrang gamit talaga yan when it comes to academics, di ba, no, like your leadership, and sabi nga ni sir, may mga marketing, yung mga ganon, which is
marketing
nandito
is
naman
also-
talaga sa college and in our institution. So if ever na malagay yan siya dito sa academe or sa ating institution, it would be a great help. It would be a great to exercise those skills.
Siguro a lot of students then will join and would participate. Kasi, for experience, very
Yes,
talaga.
and as we step up, and today esports is really a good way to release stress, to share your
Entertainment.
Yes, for
Yan talaga yung
yes.
sa
hindi
phone.
lang entertainment, but you can also get some like money of it.
Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of gamers now are very into that. Kaya nga always it becomes addictive, di ba?
Yes, and we will talk about it later on,
Later.
Alexis. And aside from aside from the myth, sir, that we have heard about esports, sir, it is not a myth that there are betting sites like Bet365, GG.bet, Unibet, and more. Though these are legal betting sites, and knowing we are in the academe scene, how can we avoid this one if there's any regulation?
Well, apparently, particularly, there are no regulations on betting. And my personal opinion is I don't want to discourage people from engaging esports for how they will. I have my own way of engaging this industry. I have my own way of engaging this industry. Other consumers has their way as well. It's really up to you if ever you're gonna bet or not. Nasa tao pa rin talaga yan eh. You really can't stop these people. And nakadepende yan sa tao if ever titigil ba siya or nakadepende yan sa tao if ever magbebet ba siya or hindi. Pero if ever you're gonna do some bettings, you need to regulate yourself. You need to discipline yourself. Ganito lang yan. Parang bet what you can bet. Paano ba? I mean, paano ko sabihin nyo? Basta i-bet nyo yung mga bagay na okay lang mawala sa inyo. If ever you have like a super extra, like 50 pesos, 100 pesos, it's all good. I mean, that's small amounts. Okay na yan. Pero number one, it's all about regulation. You need to regulate yourself. You need to discipline yourself. It's all about responsible as well. So it's all about being responsible as well as a bettor. Na meron kasi yung iba sa totoo lang yung tipong binebet na nila tapos wala lang matitira sa kanila and being like that. Pero it's all about being disciplined as a person kung paano nyo talaga i-handle yung mga ganung situations. Really up to you.
Yes, sir. It's all about the responsibility of the bettor. No, pero for me lang, sir, no, if it's incorporated in the academe, like dapat talaga ma-regulate talaga yung mga students na di talaga sila mag-bet kasi nga, di ba, student pa lang, we don't have our source of income yet. And if ever man talaga na mag-bet tayo, parang may malaking mawala. And if ever man mag-bet, sana wag namang mag-utang-utang yung magbaon ka pa sa utang.
And for me, the highlight there is i-bet mo kung ano yung okay lang mawala sa'yo.
True, bet.
Diba?
Like kung ano yung kaya mo lang mawala sa'yo.
Kaya mo lang mawala. That's very...
Okay, sir, for the last question, sir, as a YEP representative, how crucial is your vision and mission in molding the future of esports in the Philippines?
Well, mainly here in Youth Esports Program, we really want to promote responsible gaming as a whole, which is one of the best things that I've heard from the founder of Mineski, which is Ronald Robbins. We want to help the youth achieve their gaming dreams, while at the same time receiving all these academic achievements as well. Like what I've said a while ago, it's all about priorities. We're helping these schools, these students, these youth to become better version of themselves in the next years to come, for them to be like probably an icon or a symbol of gaming, of a responsible gamer here in the Philippines, for sure. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Justin, for your insights regarding esports. We would surely take note of all the things you have said to be able to see esports not only intended for fun, but it's actually more than that. So we would like to stay put since we still have our open forum later on.
At this juncture, we are going to hear different insights and opinions from concerned sectors regarding esports, their favorite video games, and how it actually affects their daily routine, and how they are able to manage their time while playing their favorite game. We will find out the voices of the man on the street. Let us all watch this.
So as of now, my favorites are for mobile. I play Mobile Legends as of now, and for PC I play Valorant.
My favorite game right now is COD, Mobile Legends, Apex, and Valorant.
My favorite online games at the moment are Mobile Legends and also Call of Duty Mobile.
So, Mobile Legends.
Nagirinig ko sa anak ko pag nilalaro niya is Mobile Legends or ML.
So I am familiar with Mobile Legends, COC, CODM, and Crossfire.
I am familiar with Mobile Legends, Clash of Clans, Left 4 Dead, and Call of Duty, as well as Dota.
I play those games because it's my way of relieving my stress, escaping from the reality, and forgetting for a while the sadness that I felt in the real world. I also like the thrill of the game. It makes me happy and joyful. Also, it helps me to improve my socializing skills to the other people that I team up with, and develop my concentration, teamwork, and problem-solving skills.
I play these games because it is interesting and I met a lot of new friends.
Yeah, well, it's easy. Entertainment, keeps your mind occupied, and some of the simulator games are quite educational too.
Para ma-enjoy na ko ang akong free nga time, and para stress reliever po siya.
They stand as my outlet, may it be for stress or may it be for boredom.
I think people play them to sort of de-stress themselves from work or, house stress or anything. And, especially in this time of pandemic wherein it's just online classes, it's a way to entertain themselves. I think that's the reason why people play it. And it's quite addicting also based on some feedbacks that I've heard. Some of the friends that I've heard playing those games, it sort of is addicting and it quite entertains them.
Siguro, nalilibang sila and some of them are nagkakapera. And sabi din nila, nagkakaroon sila ng maraming kaibigan.
So I think people play those online games because, especially right now that we are still on a pandemic, we still have to look for ways on how we could still enjoy and have some leisure during our free time.
So, ginahuman sana ako mga trabaho and then pag free na, ay nanday ko dula og Mobile Legend.
So, I think I'm managing my time pretty well. I do my homeworks and go to class at the daytime, and at the nighttime, that's the time I play my games.
So I manage my time basically. If I've got my work done, then I can play a game, or if I'm at appointments or waiting on my daughter or something coming out of whenever activities, that's when I would end up playing games on my mobile. PC games, it would tend to be, once I've got all my work done. So it tends to be an evening at the weekends where I get engrossed in those games.
Actually, I am a working student right now. I know a lot of you are wondering how I manage my time since I am studying while working. Do I have a time playing this kind of games? Absolutely yes. I make a weekly and daily schedule with specific time when to start and when to stop. And I strictly follow this schedule, especially while playing online games, to avoid any conflict with my studies and work.
I play games when I am done with my homework and when I am free.
Well, obviously I'm a working guy. During my breaks, I'll if I have time and I feel like it, I might play on my phone or my handheld console. If I can't do that, then sometimes just before I go to bed at night, I might have a little play then.
Thank you to everyone who participated in answering our questions for the men on the streets. If nag-listen ka talaga kayo, there are 3 reasons why teenagers engage in esports. First, it's because they make a lot of friends, especially ngayon there are like famous websites like Discord. 2, they can gain money. Money is very big involvement talaga. And 3, they just play it for entertainment. And you can clearly see how diverse their opinions are. That would enrich our understanding regarding esports.
That is right, Alexis. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the second segment of our program, which we will be dealing on the experiences of a professional gamer. He graduated at Holy Cross of Davao College, taking a Bachelor of Science in Customs Administration. He is also known as YoungGod and currently ranked 38 in the worldwide rankings of Dota 2 with a win rate of 56% under the pro team TNC Predator. He finished 8th place during Dota Pro Circuit 2021-2022 Tour 1 and 7th to 10th place during Huya Dota 2 Winter Invitational 2021. But unluckily, guys, our pro player aren't able to be with us here this afternoon because of his tight schedule. But guys, we've interviewed him earlier this morning. So here's the video.
Good morning, Alexis.
And a lot of gamers are curious about information about yourself, like how you play. So I have questions here that I would like to ask, especially our virtual audiences who also would like to How did you come up with the your in-game name YoungGod? Because a lot of like, especially like rappers who are also have their own names. YoungGod is very relentless. So how did you come up with that name?
Actually, I got it from a rapper also. His name is Russ. He, yeah, he have a song like Young God Not Young. Then I think like it's cool. That's why I get the name and I changed it to Young God.
Who were your influences? Who were your influencers in playing Dota 2?
Mm, I was influenced by our neighbors and who's like older than me that time.
Was there a time that you struggle your studies, and how did you balance it?
Yes, of course. Like I really had a hard time to decide on what should I prioritize first. Most especially when like there's a Dota 2 team that wanted to recruit me and I was torn between like finishing my studies or pursuing my esports career.
Other people have negative ideas about esports, right? Kuku, as one of the highest earning esports players in Dota 2, has provided well for his own family, building his own house in the province and investing in a condominium unit. From your experience, how did esports change your life? Where would you stand on that? Would you say that it, it could be a coping mechanism or it could be a distraction?
Uh the tattoo is like a distraction. What do you mean? Can you repeat it again?
Would you agree that esports would be a distraction or a coping mechanism?
I think it's not. It depends on how you manage your time. Like if you're studying and like want to pursue your career, like you really need to manage your time and what you gonna do.
Kuku, one of the highest earning esports players in Dota 2, has provided well for his own family, building his own house in the province and investing in a condominium unit. From your experience, sir, how does esports change your life?
Based on my experience, like Kuko is like rich and he's have a longer career than me. Uh, but I'm happy that I can already like give back to my family and like also provide for myself.
You have a business degree under your name, but you opted to pursue your esports career. What factors make you decide to do such thing? What can you consider that as a turning point?
I decided to pursue my passion in esports right after I got my bachelor's degree because like it was my gift to my parents and another way of saying thank you to them. That's why after I graduated, then I pursue my career.
Can you say, sir, that you made the right decision? Like, do you have any regrets after choosing?
Actually, there were no regrets. Like because at the end of the day, I got what I wanted the most. Like currently, I am one of the Dota players in the best team in the country, the TNC Predator.
Sir, a lot of you already have fans, and as what I said earlier, that there are certain audiences who are watching their homes. What would you say to um, the younger people, sir, who wants to be successful like
Mm, I wanted them to always remind themselves that the very reason why they started and this journey, whenever things seem so hopeless or like it's not going well, like just keep moving on forward and always grind. Like someday you will be on the top.
much, YoungGod, for your participation in the platform 2023. We appreciate your presence. It
Thank
feels
you.
surreal that we were able to have a conversation with one of the successful players in the world of
Thank you, thank you. Thank you din po. Thank you.
So for me, I think it is quite an advantage because these online games really help the children to cope with our situation today because these games tend to be outlets of emotions and unsaid feelings. And also in this pandemic, the physical activities are undeniably limited. So these online games are a really good alternative for those activities.
No, definitely no. Kasi nakikita ko yung anak ko when she playing this Mobile Legend sa lahat ng oras or sa lahat ng bagay, parati lang siyang nakahiga and she never talks to anyone. Unlike kapag naglalaro sila sa labas, they can play with their friends, they can play with their neighbors, and then they can engage more games outside.
So yeah, I would say there's an advantage. Simply, I would say that's, kids are able to interact with other people online. It helps them build their online etiquette. It helps them engage with people across the world. So it's not just their own communities that they're playing games with. Personally, physical exercise is always going to be, the top winner for me. However, we are going more online worlds these days, so I definitely do think it's a good thing for the kids.
Because ang Mobile Legend is nagamit siya og strategy which is good para sa mental health, and then makabalo ka how to manage the situation.
I think esports could definitely help for the mental health since it is pandemic and we're isolating ourselves, wherein we could be dealing or struggling with anything such as anxiety, depression, or etc. And it is a way for us to lessen our stress or to let us enjoy the things even though we're at homes, and it could probably be engaging to some students, especially in the online distance learning setup.
So for me, in my opinion, I really see that there is an advantage in playing esports instead of physical sports as of the moment because we are still in a pandemic and because of the new normal. However, if the pandemic is gonna be over, I would always choose physical sports rather than esports because in physical sports, you're working on your mind and your body. While on esports, you're working just the way you think, your mind, and how you'd be able to win the game and how smart you could be. However, in physical sports, you are exercising the way you think on how you could be able to win the sport itself, as well as you doing exercise because you're moving your entire body.
In this era that online games are very rampant and majority of the kids engage in this kind of games, as I saw online, Filipinos are really good at esports. We won a lot of championship against other countries that gives us pride and honor. So it's really a good idea to learn esports at school to have the right learning about this kind of sports.
The answer on this one is gonna be a big no because I believe that once schools in the Philippines is gonna be open to esports, then the physical sport itself is gonna be slowly vanishing. Eventually, students are gonna be thinking that if we join esports, it is gonna be more easier. It's less tiring. You just have to work on your mind on how you could win the game. However, if we play or join physical sports, then we have to be working harder on the way we act on the game physically, as well as the way we think on how we could be smart enough to win the game.
I think schools should include esports related activities for them to help the students to showcase their talents, also to develop the players and students to learn sportsmanship, communication skills, and leadership.
Absolutely not. Kasi esports ay natututunan lang naman sa labas ng paaralan. Unlike activities or physical activities, much better siyang natuturo sa kanila sa paaralan kasi mas nai-enhance yung mga skills ng mga bata and it is good for them. Not like esports. It is not good for them mentally, physically, and emotionally.
It is fitting that first question of our month was all about the mental health. Because at this time, we have invited a guest that would provide us with a scientific perspective in regards to esports.
That is right, Brent. We also need to hear the opinions of health professionals, which is important, to further assess the effects of video games on the lives of the people who are playing it as a part of their lives. Now we would like to introduce our guest. He is a registered psychologist and psychometrician with almost 6 years of teaching and practice in a local private higher educational institution. He is currently taking up Doctor of Philosophy in Psychology major in Clinical Studies at Ateneo de Davao University and is currently the in-charge office of guidance and counseling at Holy Cross of Davao College. Help me welcome Mr. Demar Bangeles. Hello, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for being us here today.
Hi.
Sir, how are you po, sir? How was your day?
Hello. Thank you for asking. I'm doing good. Kind of hectic because there are a lot of activities that we need to prepare for with the office. But overall, I'm okay. And thank you for having me here.
Thank you so much, sir. So our questions are related to mental health concerns that is linked in esports. So what are the, since esports and mental health is linked to each other, what are the common mental health concerns of esports players or even people playing online games?
Well, number one, there are those pre-existing medical conditions that they have that are alleviated by excessive, take note the key term, excessive playing of internet games and esports. So, like, there are those individuals with anxiety problems, depressive issues, and even other psychological disorders or pre-existing conditions that they have that are worsened by too much exposure, too much gaming, and whatnot. Another thing that I can cite is that there are a lot of people that are suffering from difficulties with sleeping. So sleep-wake patterns are very much affected because here in the Philippines, our internet connection are almost often intermittent. So there are instances that esports are played or those individuals who play games do so during the night so that there would be less traffic in the use of internet. So sleep patterns are altered and time for rest are compromised because of playing esports or internet games.
Yes, sir, I definitely agree. And sleep deprivation would also like affect your concentration, especially in classes. Kaya nga, sir, when I ask some of my classmates na 3 a.m. na daw sila natutulog, and then the reason lang daw is staying up late just to play games. I can't do that to myself because I was also very into internet before, so social media, but like the more I grow, the more I value time, sir, especially when you segregate time for myself and segregate time for studies. So I definitely agree, sir. So how true is it, sir, that these millennials are using video games as a coping mechanism or a distraction from stress and anxieties that they have?
Well, I'd say that any other activities other than esports would provide, of course, avenue to some sort of escape or some sort of coping mechanism. But just like any other activities that are not helpful, esports may provide some sort of band aid. So it's more like a short-term solution for existing concerns or deep-seated issues. Say, for example, major concerns and anxiety and depression. So, some may view it as a form of escape, as a form of short-term coping mechanism, but what they fail to realize is that it's gonna do more harm than good in the long run.
Yes, I definitely agree. So mga natutulog dyan ng 2 a.m. or 3 a.m., please listen to us since marami talagang disadvantage. And it could also, it doesn't only damage your health, but also the people surrounding you, diba, sir? It can destroy relationships. You don't have the time to spend time with your loved ones, your family. So, yeah. And sir, what is your message, sir, to those sa mga nanonood sa live natin?
I'd be talking from experience though, because of course I do play games as well. I do open world, I do MOBA gaming and whatnot. It's all fun in games, no, until you realize that it's doing you harm than good. I would say that self-regulation and discipline and setting your goals straight are the key terms to enjoy games, enjoy online and internet games in longer for longer times, no? Because say for example, you're abusing your body by not getting enough rest, enough sleep, and you're compromising your education, your work, just to play games, no, on your phone or in a computer. It's again, what's more important is you consider yourself, you consider your health, and make sure to always play in moderation. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much, sir. We already covered basic information about esports and even asked a pro player as well, people in medical field. Now, we have invited 3 more guests to have their insights on the integration of esports in the academia.
They are from different concerned sectors that would talk about their opinions on how ethics should be a part of the game and the future plans for the DACS Esports. Let us welcome our guests. She is the HCDC Esports Club founder and moderator, a part-time faculty member on the Bachelor of Arts, and co-anchor of Quotient Youth Meetup on DXGN 89.9 Spirit FM. Let us all welcome Miss Chrissy Davao.
Our second guest for this afternoon, he is a faculty member of the Bachelor of Arts, teaching social studies, and is currently the coordinator of the Office of Student Affairs and Services. Let us all welcome Mr. Kevin Paul Muganga.
And of course, the president of the Holy Cross of Davao College and the president of Davao Association of Catholic Schools, it is our biggest honor. Ladies and gentlemen, Brother Welvin H. Deloria, SC. Good afternoon, sir. We're so happy that you have accepted our invitation for today's guests.
So sir, may mga questions po tayo ng prepare kasi nga people are very curious about these esports and integrating these two the academy. So sir, this is addressed to Brother Nawalvik. According to Carlos Alimor III, the three big things that people should expect with esports over the next few years are more gender balance, the rise of mobile esports, and the rise of the athletes coming from the developing world. With the esports being transcending and dynamic, how do you envision the impact of esports in the academy?
Okay. First is, as you have already mentioned, this is really a thriving sports, you know. Like during the time, we don't have the sports, all up on the sports. But now it's part of the ASEAN Games. And I would like to believe that since this is part already of ASEAN Games, there must be something good in here. And I think that's what I would like to capture. No? The good thing in this esports that we can gain from, and has a direct impact on the academy. And as I see it, I think when we look at esports, teamwork is very important, right? So, and teamwork is an important value that we have to
threat of this COVID-19 existence, what we are actually looking forward is still to continue, most especially that we are celebrating the 60th anniversary of our very own organization. So this is to highlight also with one of our, ano natin, the context of synodality, that we join together. We would like to also take this opportunity to take this into a higher, or take this also as an opportunity to go with the different events that we have. I know that the other schools, no, of the or other member DAC schools are already doing this, no, the esports, especially integrated in their online intramurals. And we are actually looking forward to really extend this to all the schools so that we can still, no, join the vibe, the fellowship, no, with one another, as we bring in, of course, new events, which is already highlighted prior to this pandemic. And that is actually we're doing, and we are actually crafting this event we called or entitled DACS Esports Cup.
Thank you so much, sir. And yes, a lot of students will be motivated and excited to join these kinds of activities, since this is what they call the Gen Z kind of game. So the next question would be addressed to Miss Crazy Daog Daog. Youth reporter stated that ethics is so important in the world of sports because it stands not only for fair play, but also for respectful and ethical behavior of all the parties engaged, like athletes, referees, fans, while playing a game or competing. In the esports world, how important is ethics and how does it change the game?
Yes, that's actually a very heavy question, no? And earlier with the previous interviews with your other guests, you actually mentioned gambling or the betting, and that's a very big issue. And that's the first thing that Sir Jimmy actually asked me about, how are we going to control it? And I simply answered him, Sir, we have community guidelines. HCDC Esports is actually implementing this community guidelines so that we can regulate and help to discipline our players. And with that, this is also a guideline that we can refer to as we are going to create DACS community guidelines for our future players. And gambling or betting is not actually only applicable in esports. Even in the conventional or traditional sports, there are really, this issue is really existing. And the only thing that we can do is that how are we going to discipline our players, and how are we going to discipline our students to get rid or cut or avoid this kind of activity? Because as we all know, you are just students. We cannot say that you don't have that enough money, because there are some that there are a lot of money, but we in the academe, we are trying to instill in your minds the values that we are teaching inside the school. So it's very important for us that you students to adhere to the guidelines that we are going to release soon, or we are going to create, so that we will have a very fruitful and successful activity when it comes to esports. And hopefully, students will be able to follow these guidelines, and so that by next time, we will not be having issues with DACS Esports Cup.
So viewers, take note that gaming is not just a game, but also you need to practice discipline.
And I believe that HCDC students and other students are disciplined. So,
Yes.
okay lang talaga mag-conduct tayo ng esports. No? Kasi nga naman, di naman talaga tayo
I'm sure everyone, especially mga gamers natin dyan na nag-review sa live, di ba? Very excited na sila.
Yes, dapat pa kayo sila matunan, dapat pa kayo sila mahiwalaan karong hapuna. So, for the last question for this segment po, this is addressed to Brother Noel Vic. Sir, what are the future plans of DACS Esports in collaboration with SSG from the different schools to encourage students' participation?
Okay. Since karon pa man yun siya di ba? Karon pa man nato ni himuon. It's our first time. So we need to assess how it goes, and at the end we'll see if it's really worthwhile, if it's really valuable moving on to this, because we have to test the waters. Again, as mentioned, there are also some mga administrators nga medyo kabado ani nga programa kay esports unsa man na ang mga bata na di na mag-study noon sige na nag dula-dula and that's what we do not want to happen. So we'll see. So that's why we have to handle this well. So that if something good is really after assessing and it's really good to keep it going, then esports will already become part of the sports of DACS. Remember, the DACS is known for sports. And karon nag-level up tayo kasi physical man lang sa una. Karon we have esports na parang ay meron pa palang ibang sports na physically at the same time grabe ang paggamit sa ating mga strategies sa ating brains kung paano, no? So this is something new. So I would hesitate to say sige diretso na tani. No, I would still say that after this let's stop and see how it goes. And if there are things that we need to improve, let's improve it. And if it's really worth moving on, then esports will really become part of DACS Sports.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, Brother Noel Vic. Now, yes, I do agree with that. Now, this is new. Esports is new. Like, for me lang ha, like, we must integrate this to the academy because nga kung may international games nga with esports, paano pa kaya, like, mag-conduct tayo in our school. So, basin di ay, diri na magikan sa ato ang mga pro players pohon sa HCDC, sa UIC, sa atin from other DACS school na participants, no? So I'm looking forward. We are looking forward to this DACS Esports. Thank you so much for answering the questions. We are going to have an open forum after this quick break.
We are back, and at this part of the program, we are going to have an open forum wherein your questions will be answered by our respective guests.
As we have mentioned a while ago, write down your question in the comment section, and we are going to read it one by one and ask our guests. So these are the questions that our FB and Zoom viewers, our participants, have made. This is for all the guests. This is from Princess Jane Pandaling. This is she is a second-year communications student here in Holocaust of Davao College now. This is for all the guests. This is addressed to all of you, ma'am and sir. How hard it is for someone to regulate himself or herself not to be addicted to sports. What are the factors that make it hard?
Right. The question was, what makes an individual quote unquote addicted or dependent to online gaming? Technically speaking, there's this online addiction term, no, that's already existing as part of further studies in Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders. So that's our quote-unquote Bible in psychology and mental health. So there's already an existing term for that, internet gaming disorder. But we have to consider is that naabay existing na 4Ds of abnormality sa kana nga specific behavior. So, is there distress? Malisang ba ang isa ka tao kung dili siya makadula? Second, tungod kay dili siya makadula, makakos ba og danger sa iyang kaugalingon og sa laing tao ang kaninga specific dependence on internet gaming? Dysfunction, dili na ba siya makakaon sa sakto nga oras? o wala na ba siya taro nga pahulay tungod kay sige siya dula o online games. And deviance, out of proportion na ba ang iyahang pagdula? And if so, maybe we can consider that there is some sort of dependence, but we really cannot like per se diagnose an individual. Because number one, internet gaming disorder is still a term under study, and there's no official term for it yet. However, if present tong upat ka di nga akong dimension, maybe it would be beneficial for an individual to be subjected no, to certain amount of intervention kaya para ma-manage ang iyahang behavior.
Thank you for that, sir. No? How about your standpoint regarding with this, Sir Kevin?
Actually, the same thing also with Sir Demar, but this is actually in perspective naman ng mga ng mga student affairs, and we all have actually the same idea on how we look at it with with our guidance and counseling office. No, that we have to consider also that these are. But the idea is, of course, no, the we support into this context because of the development of the students. No, in the area also of student affairs. No, this is the as much as we would like to engage, of course, no, the new course of learning with our students or the new course of activities of the students. Then we bring in actually this activity so long that this could create actually development for each and every students that we have.
Okay, sir. How about you, Brother Noel Victor?
I think that's why there is an importance na itong gaming, for example, it can be formed as a club kasi may moderator. And the moderator is an important person who can help facilitate kung may makita na parang may disorder na, then he or she can point it out and pwede matabangan dayon ang estudyante. And if it's a club, then you're not alone. Everybody is there also could help. So supposedly, itong lahat na ito is to help you become a better person. And so, na ang moderator, na ang other members of the club, so mas maganda talaga na i-form siya formally as a club. That's how I see it.
Thank you so much. No? Like, unta guys, no, dapat dili ginato pasobrahan atong pag gaming or pag esports because everything that is too much can be harmful. So please, guys, be responsible. Have some like take responsibility of your actions because it might lead you to something negative. So for the second question, this is.
Okay, so I would like to add something because Brother Noel actually mentioned about it's good if it's a club and there's a moderator so that we can help the students to regulate their gaming. And that's actually true. And we have issues like, ma'am, how are we going to balance the study at the same time playing? Because I would love to play every day. So we need to remind them that students in HCDC Esports Club, we actually need to maintain grades because we are inside the school. So all of our members are actually required to maintain at least 80% of all their subjects so that we can really definitely show to everyone, to their teachers and to their parents that they are responsibly responsible enough to play their games, especially if we have tournaments. They are responsible enough that we are not only focusing in playing, but we are also enough time to study. So if you have any issues with your grades, like let's say you have 79 or 78, we are going to check it if what's happened, what seems to be the problem, and most likely we are going to put the student into probationary status. And if once the student has a failing grade, then unfortunately we might need to suspend the membership of the player because he needs to focus first on his academics instead of focusing in esports or playing games. Because after all, we are studying, you are studying, that means you have the responsibility to really focus and study in academics. So that's how we are going, or we regulate our members in HCDC Esports.
Yes, thank you, ma'am. As a student and also a gamer myself, like nagadula po kog Mobile Legends, I always like hatagan na ako gamayng time ang gaming para po makapag-study po ko sa akong major, sa akong mga minors. Syempre, dapat balance lang. Balance lang. Tula, study. So this, for our second question, this is addressed to Ma'am Crazy. Okay, ma'am. How ready is HCDC in building a reputation to become an esports powerhouse?
Wow. That's a very, very big word. And I think it's not me who's going to answer that question. It's a brother Noel who should answer the question of course, Sir Kevin, because in HCDC Esports, as a moderator, I am very, very willing and very supportive to our members and players. That's why we are actually pushing the DACS Esports Cup. Because if there's no esports industry here in Davao, how are we going to say that HCDC Esports is a powerhouse? How are we going to say that it's an esports house if there's no any competition? So how can we say that our players are really good enough, and who knows that we have another pro player aside from earlier we have YoungGod, Dota pro player of TNC Predator. How are we going to see that? How are we going to nurture a pro player if we don't have any industry here in Davao, especially in the academy? Though I think we do have one. We have NCGC Esports holding tournaments, but it's actually an open category. But there's no place for collegiate competitions that could accommodate players who are actually studying. And that in this way, actually, brother, we can motivate also our students that you don't need to stop studying if you want to play games. You don't need to stop studying if you want to be a pro player. In fact, schools are here to help you to become a great pro player while you are studying. We can help you to have a time management. We can help you to be a great one. So I think I would like to ask, brother, are you ready, brother? Are you ready, brother, to be HCDC will be, or let's say DACS will be the next the home of esports in collegiate?
Yes, I would like to say that esports as powerhouse na yung we don't parang put aside our values, our Catholic values kasi tax tayo eh. So, kung sasabihin ko powerhouse tayo, it's not only about skills but it's also about our character. So, kung mag-harmonize na yan, yung skills mo, yung character mo, then I would say powerhouse. At hindi lang Holy Cross. Dapat we build other mga schools to be powerhouse, kasi kung powerhouse yan lahat, then we can be parang light na kung pagsamahin mo yung mga lights na yan, mas maganda, mas makita yung liwanag.
Yes po, brother. And actually, you've mentioned about na we are DACS, and I'd like to emphasize that the DACS Esport will be different from other, since I've mentioned some tournaments, right, within Davao region or Mindanao. This is what it differs with other tournament because we are DACS. So we usually would like to instill to the minds of the players that we still need to be reminded with the values that the school has been teaching to the students. So that's why DACS Esports is different from other competitions or tournaments, since we while playing, we are thinking of the values that we are that being taught inside the school.
Yes. Just a little addition siguro, no, na competition man yun ni siya. But sometimes in competition, we are really out there to put the other people down, and that's sometimes the negative side of competition. But if we look at it differently, that you gather together to show your best. So nag-compete ka sa sarili mong sa sarili mo, at saka you really bring out the best. It's not really just like putting down the others like enemies, but we are here to celebrate the best of our organization. So it's a festivity of best organizations on esports. I don't know if that makes sense, but it's to veer away from the sense of competition of killing each other or putting down each other. Hindi. Pwede naman sigurong it's a festivity na pagpakita na ito yung best ng organization.
Thank you, Ma'am Crazy and Brother Noel Vic. No, I do agree with that. No, like dili man nato conduct ang DACS Esports just to put down other, but to showcase our talents regarding with this esports and yeah, maka-build up ta ninyo o kanang community here in Davao City para basin dahil jud no nga sa atuan next ang mga pro players na mag-compete internationally and we will be proud of that. And, I mean like karon pa lang proud na jud kay ta nga mag-conduct ta o ginani nga ano no. So for the last question, this is addressed to Mr. Bangales. Sir, how can a player cope up or heal psychologically from addiction?
I would like to reiterate, it's really not yet the term addiction, but more like dependence, because still it's a term under study. If an individual is experiencing those 4Ds that I've mentioned, there's an element of danger, distress, deviance, and dysfunction. If there are those things mentioned as a result of excessive, again, the key term is excessive playing, then he or she should seek out help. Say, for example, from a psychologist, guidance counselor, or in worst cases, psychiatrist for that matter. But again, ikaw as a player, you can assess yourself. Like, say, for example, is the amount of time that I'm allotting for playing, is this too much? Or is this hampering my day-to-day activities? Is this hampering my studies, my work, and other things? Like basic things like sleep, pagkaon, daily routine. Kung makahamper na siya, ana, do you think it's still healthy to pursue? And if not, and if you're having a hard time controlling and addressing your behavior, then maybe you can seek out professional help. So talk to the professionals, and there's no harm in reaching out. And ayaw kaulaw, of course. Psychologists, psychiatrists, and guidance counselors are very much open to having that conversation with you, essentially to help you deal with certain behaviors that you are experiencing, that you are portraying or showing. That's it.
Thank you, sir. No, sir, tama yun no, nga dili gyud dapat na maulaw na moduol sa mga professionals, no, because they can help us and they know what to do and unsa dapat natong buhaton. So dapat ilang gyud mo. Let's break the stigma, guys. Na kana kung maulaw ta kay kung naatay gibati, maulaw ta moduol sa professional. Please, guys, please seek help. Thank you.
Actually, there is a follow-up question. This is from our live viewer din. And this is addressed to Sir Kevin. How do you think students who have passion into gaming will use it for their further education?
Yeah, actually, as mentioned kanina, no, with two of our featured players, no, this is actually an industry in itself. The esports is, of course, not just like any other sports, any collegiate sports, which could actually one benefit, of course, no, with their talent, they can have, of course, parang a monetary incentive with it. But the ano nito is with this, no, with our esports activities, this is actually our way of supporting, of course, no, our students, our potential students who could also no be, of course, mga ano natin, professional players in the future. As mentioned nyo kanina, though, of course, no, as there's a stigma over with esports, but we are actually looking forward no on the benefit of it, most especially that the students, no, a lot of students are already engaging with it. And it's truly then no that a lot of students are also, though we do not have the statistics here in Davao City, but they were actually students no coming from the different universities in Luzon and in Manila that actually had already no supporting themselves because of the esports. That is why by itself no by itself, and I guess together with the other student affairs coordinators who are joining with us in this session, are also that open already with the support to the students. And that's one thing that we really look forward, and that's one of the objectives of the DACS Esports Cup 2022?
Thank you, Sir Kevin. No? And for the last question, this is addressed to Sir Demar. People are really curious, sir. How effective do you think are the skills gained from esports like strategic thinking, problem solving, reading comprehension, phonemic skills when applied to schoolwork, physical education, and future careers?
Well, you know, just like any other sports, these things are also taught in other sports outside esports, no? And that's the very reason why we have this in our curriculum. It's to help our students. So I think if ever we would include this in, say, for example, extracurricular activities, that would essentially help our students, no, in their future careers, because essentially it's just like, you know, physical sports, except that, as what you have mentioned in the beginning, it's played online. So regardless of what platform, these things are still inculcated, still developed among individuals, and that would help them in their future careers. Say for example, certain industries like human resource, as teachers, professors, and other careers. So yeah, I would say it still would help. No, lahi lang siya nga context nga na-present o na-develop through to the students. Yun siya.
Thank you, Sir Noel. At this juncture, we have two questions to close this forum. It is only answerable by yes or no. And no more explanation. So this first question,
For everyone po, so any one of you can answer.
yes or no lang, wala na tayong
Yes or no
explanation.
lang, no explanation.
Do you think that esports would mean disregarding physical sport? Is it a yes or a no?
No.
No. Oh. Thank you. The next question is, should schools in the Philippines be open to integrating esports in their curriculum despite its negative impact? Is it a yes or a no?
Yes.
Big yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much to all of you, sir, to all of our guests
Thank you
for
for
this
imparting your
afternoon.
knowledge, sir. We've learned a lot.
Grabe, daghan jud kay kung natun kay from Sir Demar, Sir Kevin, and Brother Noel Vic. And I know guys, tamo po daghan po kay mog natun-an maski naara mo sa inyong panimalay kamo tanan nagtan-aw sa amo ang programa.
Thank you very much for all the questions you have raised. And thank you to our guests for answering everything that was asked. Indeed, you are experts in your chosen fields and have imparted to us your knowledge in esports. While having the open forum, I was taking down salient points that I certainly would be using in the future. Ikaw, Brent, nag-take note ka ba?
Yes, daghan kay ko natun nila sir oy pati kabulong bagay ko ang mga nagatanaw na estudyante gikan sa lain-laing eskwelahan, daghan po na sila natun-an ug excited po na sila sa atong ipahigayon na DACS Esports Season 1. Me too, partner, I keenly listen and I am very much looking forward to integrating esports in the academe, especially that in our time today, we can say that esports is indeed the future of sports.
We are all hoping that everybody who participated in today's talk has learned new things about esports and slowly but surely engaged yourselves in this sport that is molding the future of sports in the academy.
Once again, this has been Brent Panario
and Alexis Wagas.
Thank you for participating in the Platform 2022.
Esports, blazing new trails in campus sports.
Before we will end this forum, ladies and gentlemen, let us watch the teaser for the upcoming DACS Esports Cup Season 1.
bridging classrooms with communities, while ensuring the youth's faithfulness.